Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of New Canaan Town Council regular meeting for Wednesday, December 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m.-ish. We will start with agenda item number 1, which is our Pledge of Allegiance. We have Girl Scout Troop 50342 to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. So ladies, if you'd like to come on up here. Everybody please rise. We could use this flag. So who all can just lead us off and we'll follow along. When you're ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, you guys.
Nice. Thank
you.
Thank you.
They all hit the road on us.
We had some daisies as part of this.
Oh.
They're sisters of the Girl Scouts.
Oh, lovely. Why don't you all tell us your names from starting from over there?
Lodi, Kavya, Sabrina, Adeline, Nora, Libby, Arya.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for giving us the privilege of you all coming in and leading the pledge. It's a big deal for us, and we really appreciate it. And thank you for serving in the Girl Scouts. It's always wonderful to be a part of a great organization and a fantastic community. I'm sure you're having a great time. Are you enjoying being in the Girl Scouts? All right, cool. Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to their parents for supporting them in their mission. Okay, so we get the roll call, please.
Yep. Lena Lee. Mike Morrow.
Here.
Maria Naughton.
Here.
Kimberly Norton. Kim.
She'll be
okay.
here, but okay.
Hillary Ormond.
Here.
Mike Rogers.
Here.
Christina Ross.
Here.
Heather Russell.
Here.
Eric Tunham.
Here.
Penny Young.
Here.
Jennifer Zonas.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
Fantastic. So I'm going to make a motion to amend the agenda to swap out agenda item number 2 for agenda item number 4. And 5. So 2 will be pushed back to 5. All right. So we can have the adoption of the audited financial statements discussion and the financial update discussion first. And then we can allow those presenters to move it along. So I will make that motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Penny, second. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. All right. So why don't we go on ahead? So what is agenda item number 2 is adoption of the audited financial statements, approval of a request to consider the recommendation of the audit. All right. Yeah, I get it. No, I was substituting it out, but that's fine. All right. So we'll go to public comments. Members of the public are welcome to speak to the town council on agenda topics scheduled for review and/or vote. Speakers are requested to provide their name and street address, and comments will be limited to 2 to 3 minutes, subject to the total number of speakers. Do we have any comments? Roy, floor is yours. 3 minutes, Roy. Make sure you pull the microphone close so everyone can hear.
Testing. Okay. Roy Abramowitz, New Canaan resident. So I'm here. I have questions pertaining to the management services agreement and a lease termination agreement with the Playhouse Lab LLC. My concerns is that it was a known fact at the time of the original agreement in November 22 that Cinema Lab was having trouble with their 2 operations in New Jersey, especially in Orange, New Jersey. And those 2 theaters were subsequently closed, but yet we were given a sweetheart lease. Why was the Playhouse Lab given a below market lease rate in a taxpayer owned building? The total square footage is 8,560 square feet at a yearly rental of $120,000. That equates to $14.02 a square foot, well below market rates of $65 a square foot on downtown Elm Street prime commercial real estate. My question is, why wasn't there a letter of credit issued to the town as security? Only 3 months security in a 10-year below market, $1,375,655 lease is ridiculous and not best practices. Why is Playhouse LLC being given gross sales revenue in a management services agreement when they owe the taxpayers approximately $340,000? They should apply gross revenue to the back lease payments and pay expenses. What was any net profit earned while the LLC chose not to pay rent? The value of the property to the taxpayer is at best worth $150,000. Screens have no secondhand value. High-end seats at best are $45 to $65 a seat, and high-end projectors about 25 grand. Why is Parker Bowles, the LLC managing member, being allowed to keep certain assets when he didn't pay his rent? In other words, on Schedule A, it says he could keep liquor, wine, beer, his large barrel coffee table and marquee lounge, small rugs and marquee bar. I think those should go to the town. You know, a lease addendum was signed where $60,600 rent was deferred. He wasn't paying rent. There was no additional security. So what I'm saying is it's concerning to me, and I question, does the state have an interest in the lease operating agreement since they granted $2 million of taxpayers' funds to the deal? Now, my question is, why don't we do the bankruptcy route? Do we know the Playhouse Lab has other assets? Pursuant to state statute, the LLC members, especially the managing member, could be held liable if the LLC was not capitalized properly, which it was not. Members are liable if they receive distributions when the LLC is insolvent or unable to pay debts. Sorry. Okay.
Thank you for timing yourself, Roy.
I
That was excellent. Thank you.
I'm very impressed.
Thanks. So what I'm trying to say is before you vote on this agreement, that the proper due diligence is done, not for the benefit of the LLC and the guy that gave us a bad deal, but to make the taxpayers whole.
Thank you, Roy.
Thank you. And Merry
Speakers
Christmas,
here
Happy
or
New Year,
in-
Happy Hanukkah, and be safe.
Happy Hanukkah to you.
Thanks. Take care.
Okay, with no other comments, we will now move to the adoption of the audited financial statements. Approval of a request to consider the recommendation of the audit committee to accept the audited financial statements. 15 minutes, Robin Fryer and Kelly Lenz. Floor is yours.
Yes.
Tucker, they have in the papers my report, do they?
It's on the tablet. That's just a financial one I gave you.
Do they have,
They have yours on the tablets.
that's all I'm
Yes.
asking, yeah. 'Cause I'm
It's this one here.
assuming you've. So. 1 second. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the, I know we've got 3 new members of the council, so if I may just take 1 minute to provide a little bit of background, which you may or you may not know, which is that towns, municipalities, local governments in Connecticut, which is towns and school districts, are required to prepare financial statements under what are called government auditing, government accounting standards every year for the year ending June, file them with the state by the end of December, and they have to be audited by a CPA firm, same firms that audit companies in the private sector. So that's the background. This town decided 10 or 12 years ago, something like that, to form an audit committee to oversee that whole process, the preparation of financial statements, the selection of the auditors, the work of the auditors, the report to the auditors. That's not something that's required. I think it's good governance. Do all towns in Connecticut have an audit committee? No, they don't. Some do, but it is something we have. It's embedded in the town charter. And as I say, about 10 or 12 years. And in my opinion, it's good governance to do that. So on the first page of my report, you've got the five members of the names of the five members of the committee. And I will just say at the outset that the four names there, excluding myself, are four of the finest people you could hope to work with. Mary Davis Cody, the secretary, is over here. But I offered for her to come up and share the presentation, but she said no, so I'll do it along with the CFO. So very quickly, so we schedule 5 meetings a year typically, and we had 2 ad hoc meetings. These are unscheduled meetings. One of them was just last week, actually, because our meeting on the 3rd of December, when we would normally approve the financial statements and recommend that you adopt them, they weren't quite ready. They were 95% done, so we had to have another meeting last week to finalize everything. That's the sort of thing that would cause an ad hoc meeting to happen. Second thing I'll say, you've got the document. It's very long. It's complex. It's a lot of work on the part of a lot of people, some of whom are in this room, especially the CFO. The focus of the committee, and I've mentioned a few points here, the management discussion and analysis, which is other than the rating agencies, other than the people who buy our bonds, quite honestly, if people look at this document at all, that's what they look at. So we're continually trying to make it readable and user-friendly and improve upon it. So we always look carefully at that. I mentioned government accounting standards. There's a board that sets these standards, and the town has to follow these rules in preparing them. It's a private sector body, so they produce just over 100 standards over the past 50 years, I guess it is. There were 2 new ones that we had to implement this year. 101, called compensated absences. So in accounting terms, what that did is, employees are allowed time off, either in terms of their employment contract or union agreements or whatever. This standard changed it from that we have to recognize the expense when they earn the time off, not when they take the time off. I'm getting very technical, I know, so I'll move on. So that made a 9.7 million impact on our financial statements. The opening balance, there's not a 9.7 million loss for the year or anything like that. This is purely accounting gymnastics. Doesn't do anything to our cash flows or our budgets or anything like that. The other one, GASB 102, requires certain risk disclosures or codifies risk disclosures, none of which affected us this year, so no impact. Major capital projects, as you know, we had some big projects, in particular the police station, which we're talking about the year from July 24 to June 25, a lot of money spent on the police station. So we had a good look at that. And something that was new was the loan for the Riverwood purchased by the, what we call housing, the New Canaan Housing Authority, which is something new. So we focus on that. Is there anything you want to add, Anne, on things that are new or?
No, from a new standpoint.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If you have questions when I'm through this, which will be just a couple more minutes, if they're easy, I might try and handle them. If they're not easy, the CFO will have the answers for you. So I'm sure of that.
Thanks.
The Playhouse lease, which is on your agenda today, that is something which has come about, the cancellation of the lease and this management agreement since the 30th of June, but in financial statements, you note things that happen after the balance sheet date, which is 30th of June, up to the time the report is signed, which is now. So that there's a disclosure on that. You may have found it as you went through. So coming to the auditors, let me just say, for the new ones here, we appoint auditors typically for 3 years. And then it's put out to bid. And then you make another appointment. So that happened last year. This is the first or second year their latest term? Second year. Okay, so PKF, this is the second of the 3 years, right? They were our auditor under the previously, they had a 3-year contract. We reappointed them. We did get a proposal from another firm. We went through a rigorous interview process. This is just for the new people. This didn't happen this past year. And selected PKF on the basis that they changed the partner. The partner we've got, we think very highly of. She has sort of worked her way up on our audit for a long time through the ranks. She's now the partner. And I think, and you can comment if you wish, but I think it's all gone very smoothly this year. They did not find any errors in our financial statements, so they are going to issue, you've got it in front of you, a clean opinion, which says that our financial statements fairly present the town's financial picture. And the other point on my report there, they did not find any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. That means major weaknesses in our internal controls. Now, to stress, this is not, and they stress it in their report, an audit of controls. It's an audit of financial statements, but inevitably in going about the work, they're looking at some of the controls, and nothing came to their attention that they drew to our attention. So in essence, the audit committee we've all gone through the report of the ACFR carefully, asked questions of the finance department, got good answers from the finance department. So we had passed a resolution last week to recommend to the council that you approve our financial statements so we can submit them. Going to sort of looking ahead, there's another new standard. We're up to 103 now, which is a financial reporting model improvements effective in 26. It's out there. It's really trying to just improve disclosure and make reports more readable, which is what we're continually trying to do. So we have a new standard that management and the audit committee and the auditors have got to get to grips with and see, what changes we need to make, what changes we can make to enhance our reporting. On the internal side, the committee's asked for some time for reports at our regular meetings on the cash position. We are now getting those. Thank you. And we'd also like to expand that to a more fuller balance sheet reporting in time to come. So I think it says in the report for the 9th year in a row, we are awarded the Excellence in Reporting from the Government Financial Officers Association. And for the 7th year, the town was awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. These things in the municipal finance world are important. So well done to everyone involved. And finally, just to thank the entire team, Anne and her people, Sean O'Keefe at the CFO at the Board of Ed, and their entire teams for all the good work getting this done on time. And to my committee members, thank you very much for your hard work. That's all I've got to say. So if there are any questions, I guess you have to take a vote. But
Yes,
I'll take any questions if you have.
We'll open up to questions. Janet.
The report said, the PKF report said there's no material weaknesses. Were any weaknesses identified?
We got no management comments and no findings at all.
It's a good question, but
Yeah.
they don't even have any sort of minor, if I use that non-technical term to recommend, but good question. They have had in previous years, and I guess we've addressed them, and they don't have any this time. Yeah, good question.
Any questions from any other members? All clear?
Maria has a
question. Maria?
So the next annual report will reflect the Playhouse situation. Is that?
Yes. Yes, because it runs, our calendar year runs from the 1st of July to the 30th of June. So the impact of terminating the lease, this management services agreement, and perhaps a new lease will all factor into this current fiscal year. I don't know if you want to add.
No,
Anne?
that's correct. We'll update because we have to change the books because of one of the other GASB rules. So it will have not a major effect, just changing it. Yeah, but it does have to be disclosed.
Any other questions, comments? Well, thank you, and all those who participate in this. It's a big undertaking. I think the residents should really take great comfort in the outcome of this, the findings, the awards. It's really a fantastic representation of our town and how we conduct our operations. So thank you. So with that said, I'll just make the motion to approve the recommendation of the audit committee to accept the audited financial statements. Can I get a second?
Second.
Hillary, all in favor? The motion passes unanimously. Okay, thank you. And then, Ann, do you want to just do the financial update now?
Brian's actually going to do it online. Brian's online. Yep. I don't think you've had him in.
Okay, so next up is the financial update.
I like the cover, but he's on.
Great. Financial and budget update, review and discussion of year-to-date financials. And Kelly Lenson, Ryan Stacy.
Thank you. Yep, I'm here, and good evening, everybody. As Ann just said, I haven't actually spoken to any of you yet. I haven't been to one of these meetings before, so I appreciate the time here. Tucker, I may need you to let me share. There it is. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you are. Your co-host.
Perfect. Get that shared up on the screen for everyone. Okay. And this is also on the tablets you have as well. So what I tend to do, this is the year-to-date highlights, the year-to-date financial information for the 5 months ended November 30th, as presented to the Board of Finance last Tuesday. I tend to go through revenue in a little bit of detail and then kind of have a single line on expenses, unless it's something that stands out particularly. Nothing really does for this so far this year, so I'll kind of just give the one line header for expenses. Starting with revenue, I have year-to-date revenue so far in fiscal 26 of $97.4 million, which is 55.6% of our expected budget for the year. Individually, current tax collections are $89.8 million, which is 54.8% of the budget for the year, a little over halfway through the year. I'm sorry, a little under halfway through the year, a little over halfway through the revenue. Prior year tax collections are $198,000, which is 65.9% of our expected budget. Building permits are at $441,000, 49% of our budget. I have a note on here that we did have some big development November, December or so that started in 2024. So that's slightly under our 2025, our fiscal 25 numbers. Conveyance fees are $1.1 million, which is 71.3% of the fiscal 26 budget. Parking permits, $737,000, 80.2% of the budget. Our interest on investments, $1.1 million, which is 63.0% of the budget. I do have a note on here that says November statements not yet received. They are actually included in these numbers. So that was a note for the Board of Finance. We didn't have the numbers quite yet. I do have them now. So this 1.1 million is accurate as of end of November. Transfer station tipping fees are 114,000, which is 27.6% of the budget. We have a Board of Ed excess cost grant. We'd like to individually note that that's 0 right now. We don't get that until February or March next year. So we'll see that in the spring. And then the total of all other revenues are at 3.8 million, which is 86.4% of the budget. Individually, some of the things that show up in here, we have member equity, we have some miscellaneous incomes, we have there's some grant income, things like that come through these all revenues. It's a big jumble of things. Questions on revenue before I move on to expenses?
Any questions, Kim?
Hi, it's Kim Norton, Town Council. I have a question about tipping fees. Is there a reason that they're down 27%?
It does seem to go, we're seeing that for the past several months. That's consistently been lower than last year's number. My understanding, based on talking to Tiger and some others, is that the individual garbage pickup companies kind of have their choice as to where they drop off. Seems like right now they're not choosing New Canaan.
Okay, thanks.
Eric.
Could you please just explain what is member equity?
Member equity, yeah, that's one that I had to learn about a little bit ago too. So that's from our insurance, and might have to jump in, but that's our insurance company. When they have a profit, they share that among the members that are paying into that. So that's a little bit of what that is.
Thank you.
114, 112, 14, yeah, we got this year. So we got a good amount. We got about 114, 112, 114,000 this year.
Yes, it's not a big number. I just want to know what it
Yeah.
was. Some others might have had the same.
Any other questions, comments? No? Okay. And anything to add?
No, we're on track, which is good. Some of these numbers are ahead, so it's really good, especially conveyance fees, because the big time for that is usually May and June.
Yes.
So it's good to see those numbers ahead right now.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying with the audit committee, this is really solid presentation. Our numbers are sound. We have a lot of great people on top of this. So good work for all of you. Thank you. It's a good year-end report for us. Thanks. Without any other questions, we'll move on. Thank you. And thank you, Ryan.
Great. Thank you.
Let's move on to Powerhouse Theater. We'll just call it agenda item number 6. General update on activities and initiatives at the Powerhouse Theater. 10 minutes. Patricia Spujani.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to meet with you. I know for more than half of you, you've had the opportunity to hear our story about what we're doing with the Powerhouse Theater, our community theater in Waveney Park, and I welcome the new board members and our town council members. And if you have any questions, we've got a lot of information here that we can cover, but I didn't plan to present everything that's in the deck that you've had. I'm Patricia Spagani. I am the co-president of the Town Players of New Canaan. Again, it's a community theater that has been in the town since 1946 and at the Powerhouse Theater since 1983. I'm joined today here at the table with Scott Crossfield and Rose Long Rothbart, our design team. And I'm going to give Scott just a minute to introduce himself. I think most of you know Rose is the local architect with Architectural Preservation Studios. But Scott, I'm going to
say a few words.
Yeah. I'm Carl Rothbart, and I are working on the Powerhouse Theater. We've been working on it for quite some time, pulling everything together, and it's been a pleasure to work with this group. The Town Players are a great group, and they really have a great vision for this, and we're doing our best to provide for their program.
Yeah, and good evening, everyone. I'm Scott Crossfield. I'm a New Canaan resident, and I'm a managing partner and director of design at Theater Projects. So we're a global performing arts design firm based out of London, Paris, New York, South Norwalk, and Denver and satellite in Shanghai. So we work on all sizes of performing arts centers, from opera houses, concert halls, Broadway, working at Lincoln Center right now. A lot of educational work and a lot of community theater as well. So I was delighted a couple of years ago to get the call from Patricia to come and talk about the Powerhouse, because it's pretty special, and as a New Canaan resident, it means a lot to me to participate.
So thank you both. And I think it's important to understand that we at the Town Players were building for the future, and we wanted to have the best that we could have for our community. So I just wanted to reinforce that. So thank you both. So the thing that's important here from the town council's perspective is two things. I wanted to give you an update on the building itself, because you all care about building use for the town. And I also wanted to give you a brief update on where we are for the capital project. So I'm pretty much just going to stay on the first page again, unless you have any questions, we can go deeper. So we originally came here because the town needed to put ADA compliant bathrooms in the theater. And we said, okay, in order to make that work, we need to expand our lobby. And we said, okay, there were plans in place, and this town council 40 years ago gave us the ability to expand our lobby, but until now we haven't had the funds to do that. Since then, working with Carl and Rose and then Scott, we said, well, part of our mission is education, and we haven't been able to fulfill that mission in a meaningful way. So in one thing and another, I'd say we have come now in front of the town with a final plan for the building use. And that's what I wanted to make sure that that's clear with everyone here, because as you know, the town is committing funds. We wanted to make sure again that you're all clear on what we're doing and supportive. So the scope has not changed. We're going to come out with a new lobby, Theater Arts Education Center, and ADA compliant powerhouse campus, put it that way. What we have, again, finalized is the use. So the last time I was here in front of the town council, our plans were to use the potting shed as our office and put the new bathrooms for the sledding hill in the park at the end of our annex, our storage building. Through the process of refining the project, what we're saying is that the right use of the potting shed is the public bathrooms. And what we'll be doing is expanding the footprint of the storage annex and basically tearing that down so that that's where our Theater Arts Education Center will be. We'll have contiguous space. It'll be a little bit larger and it's going to be workable. And again, that's where Scott and his team at Theater Projects have been very instrumental in helping us optimize the footprint that we have. So that's where we are from the usage perspective. And I don't know actually if you all need to have a vote for that or if we just keep going forward, but we'll keep going. And I've got all the design boards are here on the table. You have the same information in your packet, but if you'd like to see bigger pictures, they're on the side table. Also, from a funding perspective, when we were here in the last time, in the last budget cycle, we estimated a $3 million project all in for the theater components, for the theatrical components, for the education center and the lobby and our space, and to outfit it with the state-of-the-art technology that we're, again, working on with the Theater Projects team. So that $3 million, the town proposed in funding half of that. And a portion has already been allocated, and the remainder, the $875,000, is sitting and will be proposed in the Tigers DPW budget this year. So you'll see that coming forward. And that right now, that 875 is sitting in the 5-year strategic plan to fill up this year. So that's the town's portion. On the town players part, we have raised short about $105,000 of our $1.5 million goal. So we are busily fundraising. Hopefully all of you town residents received a packet as part of our fundraising activity with the community earlier this month. And that's doing well. We actually haven't done a town-wide campaign or annual appeal in several years. So it's refreshing to see a good response coming back from that. So our goal is to close that gap of the $110,000 by time we need to have the money in hand and giving it over to the town for managing the construction project. So basically, since we've seen you last, we've raised about $600,000 of that money. So patting myself on the back and saying, we're doing well. The town's coming forward and helping us make that happen. So if I go to the final point in terms of our partnership, just as a refresh, part of our funding to actually fund the part of the design work is coming from a state bond. And it was $100,000 that was awarded by the governor last year's about this time. So we're working through the process with town to get all the documents in place, not the approvals, but the documents in place. So I'm just calling out, thank you to Deanna and Greg Riley and the team for helping us work through the paperwork that we need to do for that, because it's everybody said it was going to be a lot of work, and it is. So we probably need the town lawyer to look at it just to make sure it's all appropriate. And with Lucy Dathan and the other representative support, we with the town are working on a follow-up grant if and when the bond commission meets again, that would increase that amount and contribute to the project. So whether the project's 3 million, or if we were to get more money from the town or from the state or other donors, right now we're looking at 3 million. But I understand that if we raise another $1 million and we said, oh, the project's now 4 million and we're going to spend that, well, I know I need to come back to you all and say the project's going to be this and here's why. But that's just where we are right now. So happy to answer any questions. Appreciate your support, and just, call out in the presentation here. You can see we have featuring the cast from the show we just closed on, which was, we sold out for Charlotte's Web. We had 27 people on stage in our multi-generational cast. And it's good. And I'll just say, we are, as a community theater, this is why we're doing what we're doing. You see all those happy faces. We had a lot of people from New Canaan participate on stage and backstage, and just it's good. It's working really well. So they're the ones that thank you, because they're the ones that are really going to take advantage of the new space with us.
Thank you. Great presentation. Any questions, anyone? Janet?
Quick question. Your fundraising is pretty impressive. Good job. But
Thank you.
I'm just are your donors a bunch of small? Like, are they a lot of moderate sized donors, or they're like a few really?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
The smallest donation we got was $1 from two kids who gave us some of their allowance money. Happy to say, and we got a couple other kids that said, here, I can do that too. And then we had some very generous donors that gave us 100,000. So, it's, and everything in between. And at Charlotte's Web, we had, instead of having a giving tree, we had a giving web. So, we got $20 and $5 and, $50 and $100 and $1,000. And some of the envelopes have come back that said, we really like what you're doing, and we're going to be a little bit more generous. So it's all over the place, which I'm grateful for.
Excellent. Kim and then Hillary.
Yeah, congratulations on your fundraising. That's excellent.
Thank you, Kim.
I came to the Sentinel Coffee that you presented at, and that was even more educational. I just have a question about the new Theater Arts Ed Center. I think you had said that they're going to knock the building down that's there. Is that a historic building?
No, it's not. The annex was built in 1983 with a builder and volunteers. And the foundation itself is the foundation from the greenhouse that was on the property. But the building itself doesn't tick that mark, although it's, just at that cusp of being 50 years old. Part of the state grant that I mentioned, we actually have to go through a review with the State Historic Preservation Office, so of the whole design. So that'll be part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Hillary?
Hillary.
Thanks. The potting shed that will be the public bathrooms, is that now a DPW project?
It's a separate DPW project.
Okay.
I feel safe answering that for Tiger.
Okay.
Yes.
Tiger's online. Okay. So that will come separately to us.
Yes.
From his department.
Yes.
Not included in.
It's not included in this. The public parts are not. So that would include some of the site work that's done to put the sewer line underneath the ground to reach the bathrooms from the powerhouse, and some of the work that might have to be done for the parking lot, and for the site work for the courtyard. So it's important from a scope perspective, which is why I differentiate between the theater part.
Excellent. Any other questions?
Understood.
No? All right. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate everything. It's a phenomenal asset for the town, really. And the effort that's put in it's just tremendous. And it's a great resource and a real source of joy for the town. Really, it's fantastic. we're really blessed. So thank
And
you.
we look forward to seeing you all at the theater. We've got 3 great shows next year. So thank you, Mike and the team.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all the work.
Nice meeting you too. Thank you so much.
All right. Let's circle back to our minutes. So we will have the agenda for minutes is the approval of the minutes for the regular meetings held on October 15th, 2025 and November 19th, 2025. Want to just make the motion, we'll second, and we can then have the discussion, okay? So I'll make a motion for the approval of the minutes for the regular meetings held on October 15th, 2025 and November 19th, 2025. Can I get a second? Eric? Okay, we'll open it up for a discussion. Does anyone have any edits to, let's start with October 15, 2025. Christina?
I do. I requested that the paragraph stating that Ms. Carlson discussed, reminded the council that as confirmed by legal counsel, any salary, blah, 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 that entire paragraph be deleted.
You did, and I had others respond to me and say that they wanted to leave it in, so I thought you would discuss it.
Well, let's get the actual statement in front of us so we can all just be on the same page with that, and then we can have that discussion. So Christina, do you have that?
No, I don't have.
Wait, which paragraph is it?
I have it. I have it here.
That
It's-
by, confirmed by,
It's in the minutes. It said,
It's in
Ms.
the-
Carlson reminded the council. Do you want me to
Okay.
read it, Mike?
Please, yes.
Okay, Ms. Carlson reminded the council that as confirmed by legal opinion, any salary increase at this time would be outside the regular budget cycle and therefore would require approval by both the Board of Finance and the Town Council. Accordingly, if the Town Council votes in favor of the increase, but the Board of Finance does not take up the item for a vote, no increase will be granted.
Okay, so the proposal here is to edit by deleting that sentence. I guess it's one sentence or two sentences? Two?
It's Tuesday.
What's the basis
Yes.
for deleting it?
It's an opinion, it's not fact.
even if it's a legal opinion?
Legal opinion.
The attorney didn't state the legal opinion. It says Ms. Carlson.
It says she stated that the legal opinion, she confirmed as confirmed by legal opinion.
It wasn't her opinion, it was a legal opinion.
Well, the odd thing is that Register of Voters' salary was approved after the budget was passed, the day before she was to take her seat. Ms. Carlson's, or the first selectman's salary, was approved in September after the budget was
Right.
passed. So why would there be an exception for these other two positions?
Sorry, could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
The Register of Voters' salary was adjusted way after the budget process in January, right before she sat in her new term. The first selectman's salary was approved in September after the budget process. We delayed the vote on the town clerk's salary and the treasurer a month because we needed, I don't recall what, some clarification. Why would there be an exception to two salaries not being considered after the budget process? And we're not talking about the salaries, we're talking about the salary increase only.
Why does
So-
that affect that paragraph, though? That paragraph is factual.
But are we relitigating like what already transpired? Or are we just discussing whether or not this can exist in the meeting, in the minutes?
Correct. We're discussing whether or not that should be in, we're discussing whether or not that should be part of the minutes. It's an opinion that contradicts what happened. If the legal opinion is that, then we should have never had the first selectman's salary or the Register of Voters' salary passed after the budget was approved.
Hillary, yes.
the minutes don't reflect whether you have a differing opinion from what was presented by council and by Deanna, by council by virtue of Deanna, or Ms. Carlson, excuse me. So whether we should have followed a different process or not, we're talking about a representation of what was said and what occurred at the meeting. So we can debate it again if we, it doesn't fall under this agenda item. All we're trying to do is reflect what happened in the meeting. And we've talked about this with respect to the magnitude of the raise or the cost of living adjustment, that regardless of whether it was factually correct or we disagreed with whatever that math was, the minutes have to represent what happened in the meeting. This happened in the meeting. So philosophically, we can disagree on the legal opinion if we want, but it doesn't change what occurred.
I understand what you're saying, but we went into extensive discussion prior to that the minutes should contain the motion and the votes and not opinions or other content.
But a legal opinion that's a term of art. I mean, that's what it's called. It's either a legal opinion or we could call it based on legal advice, which I don't know if I'm love that either. So just by virtue of using that term, I don't think that it runs afoul of the rule that we established or that we tried to establish, where it should just contain the minutes and the votes. Maria has a comment. Eric, did you have your hand up?
Maria.
Okay.
So, I mean, I would just say that paragraph includes two concepts, two thoughts, two distinct thoughts. I remember the concept that this was outside of the budget cycle and therefore it required approval by town council and board of finance. But I don't recall the second part, the accordingly part. But what I do recall is the attorney saying that we vote for the COLA, but the Board of Finance's role is to say whether or not there's enough funds to appropriate it. So I just don't remember the whole sentence of accordingly. I didn't think we drew that conclusion at the meeting. I know we had the conversation that this is outside of the budget cycle and what that means, but I don't recall that conclusion being drawn. If they don't bring it up, there won't be a vote.
If I can help, I went back and listened to the meeting so many times.
Yeah.
Accurate. And I went again today, and Nick Bamonte sat there and said that because you guys asked the question, if we move it forward and the Board of Finance does not vote on it, he said it's dead. And Luke Kaufman said, what does that mean? And Nick Bamonte said, it means it's dead. In other words, it can't move forward. Both bodies had to approve it. That's what I thought.
Eric.
Yeah, I was just going to say essentially what Tucker said, which is my understanding and which is why I voted the way I voted. That accordingly sentence explained it to me. That's one point. The other point is I think the minutes reflect more than simply the motion and the vote. And there are several other paragraphs in these minutes that are not simply motion and vote. And I think it's good to have some of that information in the minutes, especially when they're substantial, as this appears to be.
Why don't we just say this? Ms. Carlson discussed the legal opinion by counsel, see attached legal opinion. That's what, because believe it or not, I actually have a bit of a problem with the way this is phrased in here. And again, I think Hillary's correct. I mean, we're not really going to get into whether the legal opinion was correct or not, and I quite honestly don't think it's correct, but that's not the purpose of the minutes. The minutes are a vehicle of, who, what, when, right? So I can see both sides here. I think we'll get bogged down in a needless discussion. I think we all can agree that Ms. Carlson discussed the legal opinion provided by counsel, see attached legal opinion. This way we don't have to editorialize what the opinion said, whether Mike thinks it's right or wrong, whether someone else thinks it's right or wrong. It's factual what happened. And we could just leave it at that for future generations to fight over whether the legal opinion was correct or not. This way, I think that should solve it, unless you think I'm wrong, someone has a better idea. This is why we discuss it. I don't know how much you want to spend, time on this, every month, it's, a lot of time on it, so. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea because I think it leaves it. Do we have the legal opinion in writing?
Yeah, he provided to us and we can, yeah, sure, it's a public
That's the best way to resolve it. I agree.
I agree.
All right, fine.
Okay.
All right, so and that's the October 15th, 2025.
Yes.
Yeah, other,
Also, Kim had asked me to add at the end on the farewell to Mr. Butterworth to add Ms. Ormond's name. He also acknowledged the dedication of Ms. Young and Ms. Ormond. You would ask that, Kim, at the last meeting. You would ask to
Okay,
add her name.
yeah, sure. But I also put something in, but I think you corrected it. Cost of living increase, because I listened to the meeting as well, and it looked like you changed that.
I sent the revised ones to you all, and I highlighted what had been revised, the 5.575% in the cost of living increase. And then you had asked for Ms. Ormond to be mentioned.
Yeah, that was at the other meeting, but I just wanted to make sure that the cost of living increase was.
No, we're just talking about the October 15th. We're not talking about.
No,
this.
I'm on the October 15th.
Okay.
It says cost of living increase because I listened to the meeting and it sounds like that is what was said. The 2.75 times 2 years. I just wanted to make sure that that was correct.
You, in your email to me, you were referring to the September 17th meeting, the 5.75. Your email to me, you listened to the video of the
I want
September
to make sure that
17th
the
meeting.
two of them are consistent because they're both the same COLA raise.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure they're consistent. Okay, got it.
I just want to make this point yet again. Even if they're not consistent, if two inconsistent things were said at two different meetings, it needs to be memorialized that way, or we don't include that detail. Like we don't need to reconcile 2 minutes if incorrect things were said in one meeting versus another. It's to memorialize what happened in the meeting.
right, someone said
Right.
the sky is blue one meeting, now they
Yeah.
said the sky is green in this meeting,
We don't-
well, it should say, I get what. the point
That's
is.
sorry, that's just mine. Anyway, do we need to amend our motion to adopt the October 15th minutes since we're making an additional edit?
Yeah,
We
I
need to
think we
vote
should
down that
include all
initial
of
motion.
those.
Okay, all right.
All right, if you want to just pick it up, then go ahead.
To include these other two edits.
We can amend the motion to include these two edits?
we have to make a motion to amend
Mhm.
motion. So I'll make a motion to amend my motion to include these two edits to the October 15th, 2025 minutes. Okay, so I'll make that motion. Anyone second? Maria, all in favor? Motion passes unanimously. So we'll now move forward with the actual vote on the amended motion to amend the October 15th, 2025 minutes in accordance with today's discussion. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. All right.
November 19th.
I'm supposed to do the 19th.
Sorry.
Okay, and on November 19th, 2025, are there any edits? Having heard no edits, we'll now move forward with the motion, the vote, all in favor of approving the November 19th, 2025 minutes. All in favor? I made it was part of my original motion, so. So all in favor? Okay, great. The motion passes unanimously. Now we can move on to the Powerhouse Theater.
House.
What am I missing?
We just did Powerhouse with Patricia, so we're doing.
I'm sorry.
this.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes. We're Playhouse Powerhouse. It's
Right. I'll tease
understandable.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move forward to the lease termination agreement. Let's call it agenda item number 7, approval of a lease termination agreement between the town of New Canaan and Playhouse Lab LLC. We have Doug Lamonti gracing us with his presence this evening from home. So, hey Doug, how are you? So why don't you just walk us through this concisely, please?
Thank you, Mike. Doug Lamonte from Bircham Moses. It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to present this item to the town council. What you have before you is a lease termination agreement and a separate management services agreement. I encourage you to consider the two agreements as a package together. They were negotiated as such. The lease termination agreement has the effect of terminating the lease between the town and Playhouse Lab effective as of December 2nd at noon. That agreement is signed contingent upon approvals of Board of Finance, Town Council, and Board of Selectmen prior to January 1st. So the Board of Finance heard and approved these two agreements last Tuesday. Now it's coming before the Town Council. The second agreement in the package is the Management Services Agreement, which provides for the Playhouse Lab to manage the town's theater for presenting movies on a month-to-month basis, terminable upon 30 days notice by the town. The consideration is that the Playhouse gets to keep all of the revenues during the lucrative holiday movie season, and it also gets to pay all of the expenses associated with the services of operating the theater. The town's objective in these negotiations was to transition to a new theater operator while keeping the lights on in the theater. So the theater won't go dark for town residents during the holidays. The second objective was to provide a turnkey movie theater to a new operator. To that end, immediately upon signing of the lease termination agreement and the management services agreement, the town released an RFP, which is outstanding, and which has a submission deadline of January 7th. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. If you'd like to direct me to anything that you're thinking about or concerned about, I can address that.
Okay, thank you, Doug. That was excellent. Any questions? Maria?
I had a couple of questions. I was just wondering, is there any oversight while they're running the Playhouse, like someone to check in? Are there any reporting requirements, if bills are being paid timely? If not, can we add something like that?
No, there is no oversight. This is anticipated to be a very short-term arrangement. As I said, it's terminable upon 30 days notice. Playhouse Lab desired to continue to operate the theater for the month of December, essentially. And how long it goes after that, I can't tell. But to your question, there is no oversight of whether they're paying the bills.
Well, my second point kind of goes to what you're saying. It's a short term. We're all thinking it's a short term, but I wonder about H, the strategic development that gives them, basically, it tells them these are things they're responsible for. So I'm not sure why they would be responsible for planning expansion, renovations, Or is this just boilerplate language that was in there?
I would ignore that. Honestly, I don't think it's relevant. It was intended, so this agreement was drafted by Playhouse Labs lawyer. I reviewed it. I read that same clause. Rather than requesting that it be deleted, my interpretation of it is it's really not relevant or applicable, so I didn't object to it.
I don't know, that kind of worries me.
Yeah, like if it's not applicable, then why not strike it?
There were lots of very significant issues that were addressed and hammered out, and this was just not, in my opinion, something worth bargaining over. They feel that that's part of their services. It made them feel comfortable. As long as the town has the right to terminate this arrangement upon 30 days' notice, if they think they're going to engage in strategic planning, God bless.
Any other questions?
I guess
Yes, Mike, please.
On that point, I mean, what if they start something kind of big, we throw them out, and then we have to finish it up because, I mean, people do things when they're angry.
Start something kind of big. Well,
Start some sort of project that we end up having to finish up for them because we need to, this is supposed to be turnkey.
yeah, they didn't have the money to pay the rent. So I don't think it's going to be very likely that they're going to start a major initiative. They understand that this is a very short-term management arrangement. They don't have the authority to start something new. They're just managing the theater.
Right. And it's my understanding, Mike, that they're not angry, that this, they're in no position to be angry. Like this is an elegant solution for them as well. So I don't know. And they don't, my understanding is that they don't have the money to do a new project.
And if I may, we do go over there daily. Between Bill Osman and others are over there every day. So there's that oversight as well.
Can I ask a question about that?
Please, Jennifer.
So if you are going over there daily, I am just curious, in the short term, is their staff adequate? Are they still running it?
Sold out tonight for Love Actually.
Do they have are there's someone taking tickets, like it's running smoothly as far as the town can see?
Otherwise.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
So it's unlikely the town's going to take a loss then because they're responsible for all the revenue and expenses and we get all the equipment, which is more than what they owe us. Is that correct?
I don't know the value of the equipment, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's worth more than what what Playhouse owes.
Right, but we have a secured interest in this. I mean, there's no way they're going to take off. They can't take this.
They're contractually obligated and have agreed now to turn over everything in that theater with the exception of some personal property of Luke Parker Bowles.
Jennifer.
I think following the Board of Finance discussion on this, I think the number that was thrown out was that the amount of rent and the side letter, so the lost revenue to the town was about $340K, and that the value of the projector screen and the seats was about $400K, to answer the numbers. But that's in the Board of Finance, so anybody can look that up. That was discussed at that meeting.
Knows what the true value of the equipment is and all that. I mean,
But I mean, but, I understand, I've heard it said that like, the equipment and stuff can depreciate, but in terms of an RFP and enticing people to come in and now want to run and operate it, it's more of an enticement to have some seats and a projector. So it's valuable that way.
Any other questions on either document? Lease termination or management services?
Can we? Is it possible that we make the suggestion to take out H, or is this just as is?
I mean, it's being presented to us as is. It's, I think the intent of this document is to keep the operator in place for a short term through the holiday season. The RFP is getting a quick turnaround. I mean, the questions are due tomorrow by the bidders, I think, or Friday, with the answers due, right on the 24th. Full bids on the 7th, and then the bid award in January, whatever, 20 something. So, this is like, if we were to delay this, I think this presents quite a problem.
Yeah.
And that's really what I would just say to that. So I don't know if we should be starting to just kind of tinker with the negotiation at this time, considering it short term. And quite honestly, I mean, Deanna's been so on top of this. I mean, really, and I've been with her on top of it. I've had the discussions with her. I don't think there's any fooling around going on here. I really don't. This is not something that, Deanna inherited a situation and she's working through it and on top of it. So, I mean, I'm confident in how she's handling it. So I'm okay with it.
I mean, I think if we continue the daily check-ins, I mean, to me, that would, you don't see anything being ripped down.
Yeah, no, I
Some
agree
new
with that.
projects starting. I think that's important.
Quite honestly, the daily visits are also tours with people that have been responding to the RFP.
Yeah. So, any other questions? What?
Do you need a motion to move those?
Yeah, no, I have to make them, we have to have the motion and approval. So unless there's further discussion, let's just move it forward.
Can I say?
Yeah,
something?
please.
Can we break it into two motions? Because
course.
I have a problem with the second part, but I'm fine with the lease termination. So if we can break it into two motions, that would be
That
helpful.
was my intent. So we'll start with the lease termination agreement, okay?
Right.
So the motion will be approval of a the lease termination agreement between the town of New Canaan and Playhouse Lab LLC. Can I get a second?
Right.
Penny seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? The motion passes unanimously. All right, so the second motion will be approval of the management services agreement between the town of New Canaan and Playhouse Lab LLC. Can I get a second? Mike Rogers seconded it. So we will go with a discussion. Kim, please.
Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable with the management services agreement based on what's gone on since the beginning of Playhouse taking over the theater. And I feel like I also have some other questions that I don't even know if I could get the answers to, because it has to do with more of the profit and loss statements of the private investors. And I don't, so for a bunch of reasons, I'm not comfortable voting for it. So just wanted to go on record as that.
Okay, any other comments?
Nope.
Questions? Okay, we have 4. We'll now move forward with the vote. All in favor of the motion? Let's take a roll, call the roll.
Yep, call the roll. Janet Font, so that's me. That would be yes. Lena Lee. Mike Morrow.
Yes.
Maria Naughton.
No.
Kimberly Norton.
No.
Hillary Ormond.
Yes.
Mike Rogers.
Yes.
Christina Ross.
No.
Heather Russell.
Yes.
Eric Tunham.
Yes.
Penny Young.
Yes.
Jennifer Zonas.
Yes.
So we have 3 no's.
So state it for the record.
Yeah.
State it affirmatively.
We have 3 no's and 9 yeses.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you.
Right.
All right, moving on to agenda item number 9, appointments, approval of the following appointments. Audit Committee to confirm the reappointments of Tony Cece and Janet Lanaway for 3-year terms ending December 1, 2028. Ethics Board to confirm the appointment of Morgan Williams for a 3-year term ending December 1, 2028. I'll have somebody else make the motion.
I'll make the first motion. So I move to confirm the reappointments of Tony Cece and Janet Lanaway for 3-year terms ending December 1st, 2028.
Okay, all in favor of the motion? Motion passes unanimously.
And then I move to confirm the appointment of Morgan Williams for a 3-year term to the Ethics Board ending December 1st, 2028.
Second.
Seconds, any discussion? All in favor?
I have discussion.
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Lovely. I'd just like to say that I had a conversation with Mr. Williams this afternoon, and I understood his motivations for seeking this appointment. And I applauded him for coming forward and serving the town, and I'm grateful for his service in advance. To my knowledge, I don't know if he's spoken with other members of the town council, but he appreciated my call. So thanks.
Fantastic. Hi, Morgan, how are you? If you'd like to say hi, please do.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for considering my nomination, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve our good town.
Thanks,
Thank
Morgan.
you for serving.
All right, all in favor of the motion? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Morgan, for stepping up and serving. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving forward to agenda item number 10, fiscal year 27 budget process, review of budget presentation schedule and process.
For the veteran town council members, but I know we have some new ones, so I thought maybe it would make sense just to go over the budget process, the budget schedule, and just some helpful hints along the way. You all have on your tablets, there are several, there's folders. There's a folder, your regular meeting schedule folder, and then there's a budget folder. So that's where all of the documents for fiscal 27, all of the documents that you'll need will be following through there. All the prior year's budgets are also there if you need to go back and compare. Also, the budget schedule is there. This hopefully won't change. It did change. I sent it out to you all maybe about a month ago. And last week we did add the Board of Finance after their meeting, did add February 3rd as a new date altogether to hear the Board of Ed. So that night will be completely dedicated to the Board of Ed. Originally, between some conferences that the BOE team was attending, they were sort of at the end of the month, and Chairman Lavieri really thought we needed to hear them earlier and have time to ask questions. So that's the one difference that you'll see. And if anything does change, I'll make sure I point out to you what that change is. But what happens for some of you new folks is each of the departments is on the schedule here will come. They will bring their own laptops. They will present their program, their requests. They have their time limits that we ask them to stick by. And then you all have a chance to ask questions. As the committees, and I saw you all just got your committee assignments, which is great. The one thing that we really encourage everyone to do is for you to coordinate with your Board of Finance counterparts, so that when you call any committee meetings or anything like that, you do it together to make most efficient use of everybody's time, and also to funnel questions through one person, and that would most likely be the chairs. It's also really, really helpful to go back if you can't attend a certain meeting, to go back and watch the videos of, when they present to the Board of Selectmen, and the Board of Selectmen might make changes, and then to the Board of Finance. So that will help you along as well. I think I made a little list here of things. I think that pretty much covers it. Again, I'll just reach out if there's any changes. If we ever have the one thing that if there is a snow day, we will most likely still have the meeting, but it'll just go to a remote meeting so everybody could attend at home. It would cause a lot of problems if we had to cancel one of these days, but it can happen. But I just wanted you to know, be prepared, even if there's bad weather, that we would probably just go with the Zoom option only.
Excellent. Any questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be good for us to talk about when we set up meetings with the Board of Finance on our committees. So when is the date that we can go ahead and do that?
I think in the past, it's been asked if you do it after the Board of Selectmen has deliberated, because there will be changes. It might be premature to do it before Board of Selectmen.
So after the 29th of The vote happens with the Board of
Yes.
Selectmen,
Yep.
so.
I mean, you
fair
can
game
set up
after
the
that.
meetings ahead, right, to get the dates on the calendar
Right,
after the 29th.
but they have to be after. Okay, thanks.
But Tucker, remind me, when did we get the book of the Board of Selectmen budget?
Soon. So we are in the, I should have actually mentioned that. The first 3 weeks of December, actually, this is the first week we haven't been, but all the internal reviews have been going.
Okay.
So Deanna and the whole team, we sit down and everybody comes in and does their presentation and it's been cut
Right.
kind of thing. And then Ryan Stacy, who's our budget manager, is putting together the final book and he will get it. Every year we ask everyone, do you want it electronically? Do you want it in paper form? We've found people want it in paper form.
Right.
You can make notes on it. It will always be available electronically. So you should be getting that right into the new year.
Awesome. Any other
Yeah.
questions? No? Great. We'll move on to agenda item number 11, committee reports, updates from committees. I know we just all got our new committee assignments, but if anyone has anything they'd like to give a shout out to, Maria?
I'll just give a little update on the education committee. I did write to the superintendent and the chair asking about the insurance and looking to get another estimate on the service provider and also estimates in the event the district did not go self-funded. I think it's been at least 10 years since we've had outside estimates. So I think it would be a good exercise to do that, just to ensure we're on the right track with what we're paying, not only Cigna as a provider, but also the whole insurance program. I'm looking to meet, and I hope this falls outside of don't meet until after January 29th. I'm just looking to meet on that topic, not on the budget as a whole. So I'm going to try to keep that within the first 2 weeks of January. So I'm just waiting for the chair to get back to me. And then we'll set up a meeting and we'll share with everyone. And it's really, like I said, just hyper-focused on that topic.
Thanks, Maria.
May I ask a question? And Maria, I'm sure you know this. Is the insurance and the way it's funded or anything, is that at all governed by the union contract?
Well, it could be, and I think that's a good question, but I think with the I'm under a teacher contract. So that just says what coverage we get. It doesn't say how they go about
Okay, fair enough.
giving that coverage.
Yeah.
So, but I think that's a good point.
And I'm sure they'll tell you
Yeah.
if it is cut, if it does get down to that level of specificity and it's not the time to renegotiate that, then I'm sure they'll tell you that.
Right.
It worked
So, so we'll be ahead of the schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Actually, that's a really good, if you guys aren't, for the new guys, the internal services fund is kind of, it's an animal, and once it gets explained to you, it can take a couple of times. So Maria, it would be.
Actually, the last Board of Ed meeting on Monday, I think they had the insurance consultant speak. His name is Joe. I forget his last name. So what is it? Yeah, he's really smart and it's really worth listening to his presentation and trying to understand, the nuances of insurance. So I'll send that link around.
Yeah, thanks, Maria.
All right, anything else?
I got one thing.
Eric.
Just Ellen Cravato reached out to the Board of Finance and the Town Council Committee members with respect to the library. And we've got a meeting scheduled for Monday, January 26th, which is after their session with the Board of Selectmen.
Excellent, Eric.
Will you email that around to the people, because you have a new committee for?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I
Thank
just
you.
want to let everybody know that just got.
What, the 27th?
26. January 26th.
Okay, any other questions? Kim?
No question. Health and Human Services is delivering baskets to seniors from privately donated funds, and we're doing that this week. We'll be delivering a couple of baskets. If anyone wants to help, come along.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kim, for letting us know. Any other committee reports, questions, or comments? All right, well, I know we're going to have a little something after this, but all thank you for your service this year to everyone who's been serving. Long year, we got it done. We did well. I think the town's done well. We welcome our newest members. Really looking forward to the great contribution you all will be making moving forward. And I wish you all very, very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and everything else. Okay.
I move to adjourn.
Oh.
Don't get up so quickly.
Oh, move
All right. All in favor to adjourn the motion?
I said Mauritius.
And Tucker, thank you for everything this whole year.